It's been amazing to watch Joe Biden's intervention and calling Trump supporters garbage. That's been devastating for the Democrat campaign in the dying days. But what I think is brilliant, of course, is the way Donald Trump seizes on that. And listen to this comment from Donald Trump today. It's just the perfect pitch, the perfect use of this Joe Biden misstep.
My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. It's true. You can't be president if you hate the American people, which I believe they do.
Love him or hate him, he really gets that stuff, doesn't he?
He so nailed it with those comments. That will really shift votes. I'm sorry to say, from Kamala Harris's point of view, and for those of you who are watching this program who are, lifelong enthusiastic supporters of the Democrats, I think this comment by Joe Biden has pretty much buried Kamala Harris's chances. I mean, I also saw a visual of Donald Trump in a garbage truck, driving a garbage truck. There's an American expression: if something goes terribly wrong, it's a dumpster fire. And this really is a dumpster fire. This is absolutely devastating, and just a few days from the election. Hard to recover from this, I think.
It is absolutely a dumpster fire, and Donald Trump has latched onto it and amplified it brilliantly, as you allude to, with the dumpster truck and the like. So you're predicting a Trump victory? I mean, the polls would tend to suggest, and we expect the polls usually to underestimate the Republican vote, but it looks like he's actually killing it in most of the swing states.
Right. I'm not sure whether this time the polls will underestimate his vote, because the pollsters have made adjustments. But I do think they're having much more difficulty polling people given the changes of technology. My antennae, on the basis of just watching this election campaign from both within and outside of the US, is that Trump will win, because he comes across as clearer, stronger, and more decisive. Kamala Harris has, that's a wonderful expression the Americans use, word salad. She stumbles over her words. It's hard to know what she's talking about. And she's very, if you like, policy light. She tells you she comes from a middle-class family with a lawn in front of the house or something. Her father, by the way, was a Stanford economics professor, so they weren't just an ordinary middle-class family. But she labours those sorts of points and doesn't talk about policies that might affect the American people. I think she's proving to be, look, I could be wrong, but I think she's too weak a candidate. I think Trump has trampled on her, really, politically speaking.
We'll see what next week holds. Thanks for joining us, Alexander.
It's a pleasure, Chris.
It sure is fascinating. It's going to be a big week next week.